Hey, hi everyone. Welcome once again to Coffee Break with PCEB. Yeah, today is our second episode, and today we're going to welcome our special guest who should be joining us in a few moments from now. Mr. Lawrence Koay, where are you? Hey, Lawrence. Hi. How are
Hi,
you?
Chris. Good to see you.
Okay. Lawrence, of course, all of you know, is a great pioneer of the travel trade since the 80s, I believe, Lawrence, or even before that.
Before that, late 70s.
Yes, if all of you remember, in those days it was called Tour East, but it has since transitioned and evolved into Tour and Incentive Travel Malaysia now. And Lawrence is the managing director of the company.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening during COVID-19 to all the travel agents. You are dealing more on the inbound and incentive travel side, I believe.
Yes, but actually we have 3 licenses. We have inbound, outbound, and ticketing as well. But our focus is more on inbound.
I see. So our coffee break today, let's take a sip of coffee before we go any further.
Yes.
And what are you drinking today? I've got my double shot latte. That's my drink of choice in the afternoon.
Usual Americano.
That's wonderful. And how are you keeping yourself occupied? It's a FMCO right now, work from home, stay at home. So any new hobbies that you have picked up during this season?
Well, to me, this is a newfound freedom. I mean, besides devoting about up to 2 hours of my time for work, the remaining of the time I have, I got myself indulged, and enjoy gardening and cooking. As for gardening, besides tending to my garden at the backyard, I started planting last year some herbs and spices, things like turmeric, ginger, peppermint, to name a few, and at the same time, also I learned, taking up cooking, learning from my wife, who is a good cook.
That's great. That sounds like you're having a good time at home, enjoying your home, and making good use of your leisure time now.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, we're going to dive right into some of the questions that we have here for you today. First of all, you are, of course, one of the longest and most established travel agencies in Penang, doing outbound and inbound. And with the borders closed now, of course, it moves the focus more to domestic travel. And what are some of the packages that you have managed to carry out during this time that you have promoted, and how was the response to it?
Oh, well, when the government first allowed interstate travel after the first MCO, we did our research. Okay, let's take Penang as a destination. So we researched into what the domestic travelers would like to see and would like to experience. Okay, so definitely food.
I believe the beach hotels did quite well. Yeah.
Food, relaxation, of course, the beaches. And we also talk about UNESCO heritage sites.
Yes.
And of course, besides, we also have other unique attractions in Penang, like the Butterfly Farm, Utopia, the Penang Hill and Habitat, the Tropical Fruit Farm, Spice Gardens, and many others. So, we package all this up into different packages and sell. And of course, besides Penang, we also promote other states because we can do in and out. So, we also look into Kuala Lumpur and Malacca combined. We also look at Sabah and Sarawak. So we plan accordingly. Yes, and then try to sell.
That's wonderful. With the current plans that we have in place, the next 3 months, what would you say if the cases started to drop and things start to open up? What would be your response to that?
To be honest, we started preparing ourselves since last April, using a quarter year, meaning 3 months as the period for review. So we have been postponing our plans since then. 3 months, after 3 months until now. Yeah. So of course, our plan include close contact with our existing clients, besides keeping ourselves well updated on the situation of the pandemic, both locally and globally. Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, we always have our packages with us because, you know, we know that when it is going to start, it's going to start with domestic and then regional and then international. So we have all the packages ready with us. But the only problem is that we have to update the cost, meaning we may have to renegotiate with our suppliers, including hotels and transport suppliers and so on. And we also have to look at whether the airlines will start flying.
That's right.
So although we have the ready plan, the plan has got to be fine-tuned every now and then. I would say at least 2 months before, but hopefully the government will inform in advance, that we have to do our work.
That is very important. They have to give us some heads up.
Yes. But in the meantime, of course, we have been communicating with our existing clients. We have been updating them frequently.
And so during this MCO and COVID-19, you've had to shift your focus from the international market, which I believe more of your target was international market, into more of a domestic market.
That is only temporarily because we actually have not been a domestic player. Yeah, all the time we have been involved in the international market. Because for us, like for example, during the pandemic, for example, that we have to actually sell domestic packages on a private basis because we believe in adhering to social distancing and things like that. And people want to be exclusive when there is a pandemic going on. Yeah.
Yes, they don't want to be on a big bus to travel around everywhere.
Yeah, so much so that we have not been really enjoying a piece of cake of the domestic market. Meaning the result is not that good for us because maybe our private tours are a little bit pricey.
Pricier, yes.
Yes.
So we have another question more from the hotel side. Are you currently still pursuing and working with the hotels locally for your packages? Are you negotiating on an ongoing basis?
When we formulated those packages, of course, the first thing is we have to contact the hotel for rates. Yeah, so we have a selection of hotels ranging from 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, as well as boutique hotels. Yeah. Of course, when it's going to reopen again, we have to reapproach them because first and foremost, we do not know whether the prices have changed and whether they are still operating. So it looks like we have to work all over again to some extent.
We're going to take some time to say hi to some of the people who are watching online. Evelinto is online. Hi, E.T. Dato Albert Tan is watching with us. Welcome, Dato Albert Tan. Leroy is watching. Lynette says hi. Tricia, of course, is watching. And we've got Leon Tan as well. Yeah, Leon Tan from Berjaya. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, if you can, do leave us a comment. If you have a question, send it in. We've got the back-end team who will vet through all your questions. And if they find it suitable, we will be addressing them on the show. Yeah. So make sure you don't miss out on that. Send in a comment, say hi to Lawrence, say hi to me. Tell us what you're drinking. Yeah, whether you've got your coffee or I see someone here is drinking lavender tea. So there's all kinds of beverages being enjoyed here at tea time. Okay, we're going to move on to the next section of questions that we have lined up. And okay, this one is reinventing, remarketing strategies or new marketing strategies for inbound travel. Maybe you can tell us some of your ideas and input.
Well, first of all, post-COVID-19, that we definitely have to provide what I would call total services, meaning something, besides the standard SOP, we have to provide spare face masks, for example, sanitizer, even hand gloves.
Yes.
And we have to have with us ready a list of contacts hospital, clinics, or whatsoever that just so happen if the guys were to
Emergency contact. Yeah.
yes, emergency, or to suffer a fourth or fifth wave, then we know what to do, So of course, besides that, when it comes to marketing, we also have to look at the global situation, which markets we should focus on, meaning the situation in the particular markets globally. For example, right now, we can't do anything with India, for example, So, we got to look at the situation, which country has already opened up and ready to travel, Then, therefore, we got to have a very good market mix or a broad base of marketplaces with us. Yeah.
Let's go on to the next question.
Chris,
okay, this is
yeah.
The next question is about the relevance of the agencies and travel companies in the new scenario. How do you stay relevant in the new kind of travel market right now?
Well, first and foremost, to stay relevant, we have to know our stand. We have to be very well updated on the development in the various markets as well as locally. And we have to be positive, of course, and we have to be able to be afloat, to survive, because it's been a long period. So that's the reason why also, like myself, I believe a lot of other companies, they have undergone internal restructuring. Yeah, restructuring to ensure that the costs become much less, and also to ensure that the staff are able to handle various aspects of tourism business, meaning multitasking. And you must also believe that post-COVID-19, not everyone will just book online and travel on their own, because there will always be a certain segment of this tourism business, or the tourism so-called, or the tourists rather, that will depend on travel agent.
The niche markets that you were talking about.
For example, the young, the old student travel, during school breaks or summer breaks, and also the older one, the silver hair, the retirees.
That's
they need
right.
people
Definitely.
to look after them, whether they travel
they need more help
or as a group. Yeah, and of course, companies sponsored incentive travel. That is important. Yeah, and also the affluent travelers. Yeah, because they are rich enough that they can afford to just appoint a travel agent.
That's right. The top end wants to be pampered and taken care of, basically. The cost is not an issue. They want you to bring them to the best.
Yes, and also psychologically, which is a very important point. Psychologically, they want to be taken care of. They want reassurance that when they are at a certain destination, the local agent is able to look after them in case of emergency.
That's right.
Yes, I think we still have a role to play.
That's true. Definitely. That's good to know. Next. All right. This one is specifically to your company. Did Twin Incentive Travel venture into any new diversified business for this season? And any new business models or initiatives that might not even be travel related?
Unfortunately, no, or not yet, because we have been busy restructuring. I've said a bit earlier, we need to restructure, we need to reduce our staff costs, we need to cut costs here and there. And we also need to look into the niche, which is basically more IT based for the future. We explore, developing our own online portal.
That's very interesting.
Besides keeping in touch every now and then with our existing partners worldwide. So will you be transitioning
into an OTA, like an online travel agency?
Is
that the future for you?
Not to compete with those big OTA who are giving us business. In a smaller scale. maybe something niche. Yeah.
Very niche scale, yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting. We look forward to seeing that. And we have another question that says, marketing efforts are still ongoing for tourism and business events. In your opinion, what's the timeline that we're looking at? First of all, for local events, then regional, and then finally international events coming back to Penang. What kind of timeline do you think we're looking at?
I think domestic travel, once opened up, can start anytime, even for groups. Yeah. But as for regional, maybe next year, but I can't say
Travel
when,
bubble and
because
so
depending
forth.
on the situation. Yeah. But if I were to base on the IATA's prediction, they said the good recovery will only be in 2023. But again, if you talk about the BE business, it all depends on the type of industry. If it is the popular one like IT, AI, high tech, you know, for example, electronic cars and things like that, I think that could happen even sooner, you know, for that kind of exhibition or exposition, you know. Yeah. So it's really, you know, it depends on the circumstances, like I say, you know, depends on the type of industry. Yes. Yeah.
So you've seen the BE industry transform into kind of either hybrid or almost totally virtual during these past 15 months, talking about online Zoom conferences, even awards presentations that we used to have incentive travel that bring all the participants here, all being conducted online or in a hybrid mode. Do you foresee that this is going to be a continuing trend, or once it's open, everybody will come back and want and crave those live events again?
No, I believe it's transitional. For the start, during the transition back to normalcy, this will happen, hybrid will happen. But after that, unless they can really improve and confirm that the technology can outdo face-to-face meeting, then it might continue. But otherwise, I think it's a matter of time that once people can travel, you will go back to like before.
That's right.
That's my point of view only.
That's my hope as well. Yes. Okay, let's take a look at a little bit of comments that are coming in. Hari Krishna, welcome to you. Ivan is watching as well. Ivan Tam, welcome to you. And Joey is here as well. Okay, do we have any questions? Let me take a look if Machen has sent in anything. Okay, from Kevin to Sarah, all right. In your opinion, what are some of the local cultural attractions in Penang? Okay, that one should be quite easy to answer.
Well, Penang is famous for its cultural heritage, per se, you know. I mean, whether you look at it from the daily life or you look at it from the architectural point of view, you know, we are very cultural, deep-rooted, you know. In a way, it's a little bit similar to Malacca, you know. I mean, you can see the very old things, this nostalgia kind of feeling is always in Penang, you know. Yeah. So it is definitely a selling point. But of course, you and me know that Penang is more than that. So, you know, although we may have a package selling cultural Penang, but we won't stop there. We will be selling other aspects of Penang as well. That's why most of our packages has 3 nights minimum, but it can be extended to 6 nights if they want to add on to see other aspects of Penang.
We've got heritage, we've got food, we've got the nature and so forth.
Yes.
Okay, we've got another one. Okay, this one I think we've already addressed. John Chaco asked, in your assessment, when will inbound travel to Penang resume? I think we've addressed that, but maybe you can just give it a recap.
Well, like I say, we are looking closely at various marketplaces, and we are looking closely at the aviation industry. When are they really going to start? And whether, you know, they are going to say that, okay, whoever got vaccinated can start to travel. You know, all these are still remain unanswered because people are still waiting and see. But the way I look at it, again, you know, based on the IATA finding, is that maybe 30% recovery by next year, maybe up to 50% to 70% by 2023. Yeah, but again, you know, the countries nearer to us will produce the tourists first, I believe. Besides domestic tourism.
Singapore.
ASEAN, yes, ASEAN will start first.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a few minutes left, and we'd like to invite all our viewers. If you have a question, you can send it in. You're watching us on Facebook Live on the PCEB page. You can send in your questions now. We'll take a few moments to answer. Okay, and that will be our show for today. Yeah, I'll give you a few more minutes to send in your questions for Lawrence. Lawrence, we want to thank you for taking the time to be with us here today. I remember probably the last couple of shows we did together, we're talking about an international incentive at Ku Kong Si, if I'm not wrong, which myself and your company.
Oh yeah. In fact, way before that, in the late 70s, I already joined Tour East at that time.
Yes.
We mooted the idea. We call it the Emperor's Night. Okay, using Ku Kong Si as a backdrop.
That's right.
So we started that, and surprisingly, you know, the clients were so happy, and then we make use of that to sell as a marketing tool, and we were actually quite successful for the following 2-3 years. We had quite a lot of that kind of activities, until others began to, I wouldn't say copy lah, but to make use of Ku Kong Si as well and modify a little bit, change the name and things like that. That's good for Penang, you know. It's just the same, like we also started using the old Eastern and Oriental Hotel for what we call Colonial Night.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and that was also very popular, you know. In fact, and then some years later, we started using the Penang Ferry for Malaysian Night, you know, in the ferry.
On the sea and a cruise.
But it's not successful because although the clients were very happy, because halfway through, the ferry got drifted away because of the strong current. It's flat bottom.
Yes.
It's flat bottom. So that was the last time we make use of.
So when you go
idea
closer to the bridge, the current gets stronger.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at some. Okay, I've got Tricia that says, Lawrence, you're very optimistic with the return of meetings to Penang. And you mentioned it's very industry dependent. What kind of industry do you foresee will restart their meetings first? I think you mentioned a little bit, but maybe if you have any others that you want to address.
I think anything relating to medical, insurance, motor vehicle. When motor vehicle, we are talking about electronic vehicle, I think, because that's the in thing. Yeah. Yes. And then of course the rest is like what I say, IT or AI, you know, related kind of industry.
Okay, I think that answers her question.
Yeah.
We've got another one from Chaco over here, Mr. Chaco. What about conference travel from China? What do you think? So what do you think? Is there any stigma, do you think, after this COVID-19, when people talk about China and welcoming groups from China? What is your feeling on that?
Why not? I mean, China has been one of our biggest market. In fact, when you talk about COVID-19, China has more or less recovered. It may not be 100%, but almost like that. So I think it's a matter of time that they will start coming again. And of course, it also depends on our local effort. And I believe PCEB has already put in the effort, because not so long ago, there was actually a show.
Yes. ITCM China, I think, if I'm not wrong.
That's right. Yeah. So I think it is still a very important market. It shouldn't be overlooked. Yes.
Okay. So as we were talking about all the kinds of businesses that you're into, I remember those were the days when your company was operating the shuttle that carries the guests from Shangri-La Hotel in town up to Batu Ferringhi at Rasa Sayang. That's your claim to fame as well, if I'm not wrong. For many years, you operated that shuttle.
Yes, we did that. Of course, collaborating with the Shangri-La group of hotels, because Shangri-La Inn or later or now it's Yen Hotel, right?
Yes.
Changed name several times. Yeah, that belongs to the group. And so therefore, for those guests staying at the Rasa Sayang, they can travel to town so that they don't lose out on the F&B. They can have lunch there or coffee there, and then they can
enjoy
shop at Komta.
beach side.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. And then those staying in town can go to Rasa Sayang or Golden Sand for a beach day.
Wonderful. Those were the days. Huh?
So that's how we did. We worked together with the Shangri-La Group. Yes.
And what would be your take on Penang as an incentive destination? I believe in the earlier years, as we mentioned about the old days in the 90s, we got a lot of international groups from everywhere, and it was a very, very busy time for us. But in the later years, we've had some other destinations come in. I think Phuket is a hot spot now, Bali also. How do you recommend we stay competitive and still have our share of the market and maintain our presence in the market? What are our key points or our strengths that we
based on our resources, we should do better even than Phuket, because we have more to offer. We are not talking about beaches alone. That one we may not be able to fight with Phuket, but we have more than that. So the combination of resources that we have, we should do better. So therefore, I believe the question is on marketing. How do we remarket Penang for incentive travel? Yeah, and of course, also creativity comes into play.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
theme nights and so forth that we talk about. What can we create for the guest? That's right.
Yeah, and of course, aviation also. Accessibility is also another
connectivity. Point. That's right.
Yes.
That's great. So thank you so much, Lawrence, for taking the time to be with us here. This is our second episode, as we mentioned, and we're looking forward to having 10 shows in total. Next Tuesday, 29th of June, same time, 3:30 p.m., we'll be welcoming Mr. Adrian Pravin, one of our foremost hotel consultants, and he's from Arrowwood International. Adrian Pravin will be joining us here live on the PCEB Facebook page. Any last words from you, Mr. Lawrence, talking about how will you feel when we finally say we're done with COVID, everything's over, and we can open everything up as normal once again? What will be your feeling at that moment?
Okay, for marketing purpose, I would say Penang is safe and refreshed.
Those are the words to keep in mind when you think of Penang: safe and refreshed. All right. Thank you once again so much for your time, Mr. Lawrence Koay, and sharing with us on the show all your insights. I believe the important takeaway, especially for travel agents who are in the business, talking about niche markets, talking about value added, talking about safety and security, making the guests feel safe at all times and well taken care of at all times. Yeah. That's right. And a niche market, what would you say is the best niche market that of all the ones that you mentioned just now? Student travel, elderly guests, incentives. Which one would be your pick to concentrate on?
Well, we have always been focusing quite a bit on incentive travel. Yeah. And besides that, of course, student travel, especially visitation by students with intention of playing friendly matches with the local schools. Sports tourism. Yes, sports related. Yes, we have been having quite a bit of that. And I think that will come back. It may not be that fast, but sooner or later that will come back. Yeah. So, all these segments are important, even the retirees market. Retirees, of course, there are only certain markets that really promote. One of them is Japan.
Yes.
Yeah. Because they have a Silver Hair Foundation, and they do take care of the retirees. They have that kind of program. And of course, other countries are coming up copying that as well. One of it is also South Korea. Of course, in business, the trend change from time to time. Even the niche also change from time to time. So I can't predict post-COVID-19 what is going to be, or it's going to remain the same.
But all we can say is we look forward to it, yeah? When things open up, I think it's going to be a boom. It's going to be a pent-up demand. everybody waiting to travel and waiting to visit friends and so forth. The whole travel industry is going to experience a boom at that time, post-COVID. So once again, to all our viewers, we want to thank you for taking the time to be with us here this wonderful afternoon. And we hope that you will join us once again next week's show on Tuesday, 29th of June, 3:30 p.m. right here, same time, same place, the Facebook page of the Penang Convention and Exhibition Bureau. Yeah. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence, for your time.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
And we'll catch up and see you again. Bye-bye.